Good morning or good afternoon and welcome back to Inside News on the Mark, and we're going to now talk about Sunday's meeting. It's the Barbé Cup. It really looks like a very, very interesting Barbé Cup. One of the strongest Barbé Cups I've seen for many, many years, and I'm really looking forward to watching the race. If you're nearby the course or even if you're far away, come down to Champ-de-Mars. I think it's going to be a very, very exciting race, the Barbé Cup. But we're going to start off in the first race, the France Mervyn Cup. It's a 1650 025. And only 8 runners here, but a competitive race. I think that 8 Cities will be my first choice. I'm not banking him by any stretch of the imagination, but he's had some pretty decent runs this year. The stable's in hot form. I think if ever 8 Cities is going to pick up his first win in Mauritius, it'll probably be this race, Raksha. I don't know if you agree with me. It's not the strongest of fields.
Yeah, definitely. But for me, frankly, I'm going for a win again of Spin a Coin with Souffle on board. So I think he's been such a lucky horse at this age. I think he gets a total of 7 wins in his career. So maybe with that draw, he can try to lead in front. Then I'll place 8 Cities behind it.
Okay, yeah. Spin a Coin must be a good horse because I won on him. So he must be a very good horse. Yeah, I remember winning on Spin a Coin. This horse runs with heart, absolute heart. He always gives his best. And there was a very emphatic win last time when he beat Valorant by 2.5 lengths. And he must have a chance in this sort of race as well. Ladies' Night, another horse that sort of looks like it's on the up. It's a 3-year-old. He won a 1600 back in South Africa. This is a 1650. Obviously, the distance is going to suit him a lot better as well. Raksha, anything else besides besides the 2 that you've spoken about?
I think Doyce will run a nice run this time, because last time on this same distance, he had for me, frankly, he deceived me because I put him on the first place.
Yes, that's right.
So
yeah, he's deceived me a couple of times.
Yeah, deceived me. Yeah. So I think, I hope so, Jeannot Wright can make a difference here. Yeah,
this is probably one of the weaker races that he's probably running. But okay, so you like Doyle. So a trifecta, what's your selections for the first?
Would go 4, 5 and 7.
Okay, I'm going to go 5, 4 and 3 in the first race. It'll be my selections. I'm hoping that those 3 get me through to the next leg of my pick 8. Right, race 2, the Indian Oil Petrocard Cup. It's a 990 benchmark 36, and we just spoke about one 9-year-old. I want to talk about another 9-year-old. That's AP Strike. Very, very impressive winner last time when he was very unlucky the time before, and well, he never deceived us. He really kicked on beautifully up the straight. I reckon in this sort of field, he must be a big, big runner once again.
Yeah, I think he ran a cracker this time, and also I think the 7 barrier won't cause him a big issue.
He comes from quite far off the pace. Yeah, so he's got good form over 990. Some very, very good form over 990 as AP Strike. Do you think it's an open race? I mean, who else would you like to talk about?
Maybe I'll add the number 5, Freddie Flint.
Yep.
He ran a good race last time, and he seems after that race to pick up nicely. He did progress at the track work, so I think he's the one to follow here.
Yeah, look, he's drawn 1 this time. If you have a look at his last run, he was drawn 10. He came from very far off them. He is a sort of horse that could be a little bit closer. I think obviously if he is a little bit closer, he's going to be a much better. He's going to have a much better chance. Freddie Flint. I've got him down as my second choice, and then my third choice, the Gajada horse, Cape Horn. I reckon this horse has got the ability. He doesn't always put it in. You just have to go back to his penultimate start when he beat AP Strike, and then the sort of towards the end of last year, there was an excellent second to Galterra when he was absolutely flying. So Cape Horn on his day, when he's sort of in the mood for galloping, he has got sort of the ability to upset a field like this. Raksha, anything else you want to talk about?
Maybe I'll add in the quartet, Captain My Captain. I think on 90 he did really well behind Rahib. Yeah. So he did caught my eyes on Tuesday. Yes. So with 59.5, let's see what he did. Yeah,
it was one of Shahil's training shots for Wednesday. Unfortunately, he got a poor draw to deal with. He's going to be drawn 10 out of 11 in a 990. It's quite hard to believe that they can fit 11 horses in a 990. It's going to be like in a tunic tin. It's going to be quite cramped, and obviously with that draw, he's going to need a bit of luck. But at the end of the day, I think the old man who's going to bring it home for us in the second race. Right, number 3, it's the Indian Oil 16th Anniversary Trophy, 1400 meter benchmark 41. Tough races. I reckon if Arctic Flyer had a draw, I would sort of make him a very hard horse to beat, but unfortunately, he's going to have to deal with that poor draw. I'd love to see Simon back into the winner's box. Unfortunate draw.
Yeah, it draw 11, so this might play against him. But I think if, as you mentioned, if we ignore that draw, if he would have drawn a good gate, so I think he would go with a superior chance here. But here I would go for a win of Gunstone, the newcomer of Chance Stable. He's been prepared for this race, but I'm quite perplexed on the fact that they put it on a 1400 meter.
Yeah.
What do you think? Personally, I think that they should have put him on a 90.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go back to his South African form, 2 wins. He won over 1200 and 1400. So he's run behind decent horses like Rule the Night and those horses. He's a 3-year-old. It's always sort of worrying how 3-year-olds run first time up. But what about Kudu 2? That was such a great gutsy win last time. In fact, I put Kudu 2 as my first choice. I think Derek David's sort of really... obviously, there was a big question mark over the 1400 last time, but he really fought off Varside gallantly. Obviously, Varside ran on Saturday, so we'll see how he goes. I mean, if he wins, obviously, Kudu 2's form looks a little bit better as well. But Kudu 2, hard-fought win last time. I reckon that he is a little bit better than what his ratings suggest, and he could maybe pull off another win, Kudu 2. But it is a tough race. Like I said, Arctic Flyer, if he had a decent draw, he'd be my first choice. He's going to be my second choice. Kudu 2, first choice. And then Black India, I want to talk about him. He's a young horse, 2 runs in Mauritius. He improved his second start. He's doing very well in the training. And that wasn't a bad run, 2 lengths behind, mind-blowing. So I'm going to put him as my third choice. I know you've always been a bit of a flower blue fan, your blue jacket. So, I mean... Tough race, Raksha.
Yeah, it's a tough race, but I think I will ignore the last race of Flower Blue, and I think I will give him another chance here. Okay,
he's drawn 1 as well. Pierre Stradum in the irons. He must have a chance.
But not on his recent form, but on previous form, he was a good horse.
Yeah.
Flower Blue.
Yeah, well, he's run behind Sky High Flyer, Mamba, those sort of horses. Yeah, I would imagine the third race probably one of the toughest races on Sunday. You'd probably have to load a little bit, but my trifecta or my selection would go 9, 6, 7.
I would go for 2, 6, 8.
Okay, well, I suppose that's a little bit of a difference there. That's the beauty of horse racing. Everyone has their own opinions. All right, we move over to race 4, 1500 meter benchmark 46. I love the way this horse won last time. AFDEEK, I was very bullish of him winning. He went off he started at a nice price. He opened up a nice price, 4-1. He was supported. He beat Boya. And I think that Darrell Holland's got this horse sort of sewn up. He knows exactly how to ride him. It gets him to settle beautifully. You know, when he first arrived, Raksha, he was sort of over-racing. And he was a difficult horse, but Darrell Holland's really got him to settle down nicely, and I think he's going to settle him again, and I definitely think he's going to be my first choice.
Yeah, even Darrell Holland knows him better now, so I think they have a good pair together. Yeah. So I'll bank him in this race also. Okay. Then for the second place, I'll go for From the Ashes. I don't think that distance will cause him a little issue, because I think he was in the entries of a race of 1,500 meters, but he didn't participate because he was retired from that racing. So I think now it will be a test for him, and I'll include him with his finish.
Okay. Tower of Wisdom, he's run some cracking races last year. I think he's been a little bit unlucky this year. I reckon he's a bit better than what he's shown us in his last couple of races.
Yeah, but I think in this race we don't have really some decent outsiders to cause any surprise. Yeah. What's the price of Tower of Wisdom? I didn't say.
I'm not sure, because obviously Sunday betting hasn't come out here, so I'm not sure. I would imagine AFDEEK is going to be.
Maybe he'll go with a chance of outsider here.
Yeah. All right. Well, AFDEEK should be the favourite, and I think he will take quite a power beating. From the Ashes, you got to respect. My only worry is that he's been scratched twice this season already, so he must obviously have some sort of issue. Because my French is not too good, but it looks like it's because of yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, I would imagine that. Okay, thank you. He was lame. So that is my worry about From the Ashes. But at the end of the day, I think AFDEEK going to be hard to beat. I've got a lot of respect for number 2, Tower of Wisdom. Right, let's move over to race 5, 1450, benchmark 51. Hastings, is he a possible banker for Sunday afternoon?
I hope so, but I don't see him losing that race. We don't have any really horse that can tackle him.
Yeah, well, that was a cracking run to Waltag. We've seen what Waltag's done, and then last time he beat Arctic Flyer. I thought it was a good ride from Pierre Stradum. I don't believe this horse has to lead. If you have a look at his South African form, he never really led there. That run to Waltag, he never left. Because I'm thinking that probably Derek David's got a trick. Well, no, he's probably thinking about leading with Promissory, and I would love to see sort of Hastings in the box position. I think he's going to be too good for them.
Yeah, I hope so, because we all know David is really good to take to start his horses. But last time I went for Promissory, but this time I'm not going for him.
Okay. So you've had enough of Promissory then. Yeah. What about Lequeria? There was a cracking run. Well, he's had 3 good runs in Mauritius. I think that the 1450 will suit him.
Yeah, he's a horse that has a good potential, and I think here we can follow this horse, because look at the horses he run behind: Rule the Night, Barak Strait, Viking Trail.
Yeah.
So I think last time there was some issue in that race now, with Rob Roy, Lequeria, and so on. Yeah, but if we ignore that incident, I think he's the main contender of HUYSSTEEN.
Yes, I agree with you. And listen, it's not often that you get a 3-year-old around Mauritius of a rating of 51. So he was a decent horse back in South Africa as well. So he's probably one of the nicest 3-year-olds racing in Mauritius. He came with a very high rating. So Lequeria, obviously, I agree with Russia, probably the biggest danger to Hastings. But I think Hastings got too many guns for them.
Yeah, really.
Okay, let's move over to probably one of the most exciting races of the season. The Indian Oil Barbé Cup. It's a Group 1. There's 11 runners here. I think there's an argument for at least eight of them that could possibly pull off the Barbé Cup, and that's what's so exciting about this race, is that it's so open, and I suppose any horse has got a
Mark,
chance.
after such a long while, we have such an interesting race with many contenders, which goes on. So I think everyone have to enjoy that race on Sunday.
I mean, you know, Group 1 racing is the races that everyone wants to win. And it just really looks exciting, and it really looks like it's going to be a very, very good race. It's a difficult race to sort of pinpoint a winner. So because it's so difficult, I'm going to let you start.
Okay. So basically, if I have to make my choice, I have my mind who says that White River gonna win, but my heart says Kulat Heart. But definitely, what I have been seeing so far, I think I will go for a win of White River. It's been quite nice so far, and I think he's more than what he demonstrated really with Nunes on board. So I think White River can't lose here. He's a classy sort, definitely. And last time I think he didn't take the 4 years championship. So this was not his targeted race.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He had that little issue.
Yeah, but let's see how it takes on Sunday. And for the second place, I place Kulat Heart. This was the targeted race. There was a couple of weeks ago, I spoken to Ravi Rawa, and he really likes. He told me like Kulat Heart shall be a good runner on the Barbé, because they already targeted that race. But I don't know if the 11th draw will cause him an issue. Do you think?
Look, he's very quick, but obviously it's not in his.
Because last time, if we see in the 4-year championship, the last 100 meter, he was quite like sort of giving sign of tiredness.
Yes, yeah. Well, look, he's had a lot of racing. He's had, what is he at? He's had 5 runs already.
Yeah. And
now he's stepping up to probably the toughest horse of his career, level weights with the best horses on the island.
Maybe that would be really a test for him.
Yeah, it will be. It's a pity about the draw. I would love to have seen Kulat Heart with a decent draw, get to the front, and then really see how good he is. I'm going to agree with you with White River. I'm going to make him my first choice. I think he was a terrific racehorse back in South Africa. He's shown us 2 very, very good runs in Mauritius. Yes, he did have that little bit of a setback, but I don't know if you saw his gallop on Tuesday morning with Independence. It was really impressive. And White River, bit of a sort of mystery. How come the stable jockey's not riding him? If I was a stable jockey, I know that who I'd be riding. I'd be riding White River, unless maybe it was a stable decision because Manoel Nunes has ridden the horse and won on him. So maybe they took that decision. But I definitely think
the jockey opted for Nebula.
Okay, well then, that puts like a spanner in the works. I can't understand why, because he beat Nebula easily in the Duchess. I think he'll beat him again. In fact, I'm going to make Nebula my second choice. I think the Ramanshua Gajada stable got a very good chance of finishing first and second in this year's Barbé Cup. Nebula will be my second choice. And then one horse that I want to mention is 10 Gun Salute. He's also, you know, these feature races, these classic races, he always sort of rises to the occasion. He's been placed in the Gold Cup. He's been placed in one or two other big top races. I know that Naresh Jaglal a couple of weeks ago did say that he was pretty confident that 10 Gun Salute was going to run a crack in the Barbie. So at the end of the day, it's a very open race. I'm going White River, Nebula, 10 Gun Salute will be my third choice. Obviously, you're a big fan of Cool at Heart, unfortunately about the draw, but any other horses you want to talk about?
I would add Bariton in my quartet.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he got a good finish, and the 9th draw not really an issue for him. And I think this horse likes sticky going.
Yes,
so
yeah, and we've had quite a lot of rain as well.
We had a lot of rain. The track is almost 3.1, so I think we can't ignore him here.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Nebula.
Yeah, Baritone, he really is a good horse, and he always runs, just like 10 Gun Salute, always puts in a good performance. Okay, well, the Barbie Cup looks like it's pretty open. Well done if you do manage to back the winner there. I'm going to stick with White River.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to White River also, and I really hope that Rameshwar Gajada stable win this race, because that dates me back where first Jersey won on Polar Bound, and for me that was the best Barbie I've seen.
Yes, yeah, it was a cracking
I don't know what's your best Barbie.
I can tell you what was my worst Barbie is when I ran second. I think it was Tabasco Reds beat me, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I agree with you. That was a great race when Polar Bound went. And I think we're going to have another terrific Barbie Cup this week. All right, we've got 2 to go. It's the 7th race. It's a 1400 meter benchmark 31. One of Shahil's favorite horses, Mr. Hardy. He's done nothing wrong in Mauritius, except for maybe his first run this season when he probably needed it. But then there was such a great win after that. And then that sort of battle with Texas Sky last time, there was a terrific race. I thought there was a brilliant ride from Bruno Rees to get Texas Sky down on the line. He'd probably be my first choice. He has got 61.5, but he did run in a benchmark 36 last time. And I thought it was a little bit too high up in class for him, but he proved me wrong. He's back down to a 31, and I do believe that Mr. Hardy is going to run a cracker in the 7th.
Yeah, I think if at the straight line, if he didn't hang in, so he could have won that race. So definitely I'll give him a superior chance here.
Okay, and your second choice?
I placed Phoenix Rising. He did run a good race behind Consul of War, and 59.5 versus Mr. Audi 61.5. So I'll give him a second chance here.
Yeah, I like the way. In fact, when Phoenix Rising ran last time, I said to Shahil that I honestly believe Pierre Stradum's going to suit this horse. Gets him nicely balanced. He's going to be running on strongly. That was a cracking run. I think Consul of War looks like he's a decent horse. So he's drawn 1. Pierre Stradum on the irons. I think he'll run a good race as well. And then Superstitious, he's had poor draws to deal with. He was drawn 9, and then he was drawn 10, and he ran some cracking races. This time he's drawn 3. He'll be my third choice. So Mr. Hardy, Phoenix Rising, Superstitious.
And for me, I'll go for Mr. Hardy, Phoenix Rising, and Superstitious.
Okay, great. There we go. Let's hope we catch that trifecta, Raksha. We can have a beer for the last race. It's the 1450 rating 026. And one of my 2 to follows is Master of Spain. I thought he was very, very unlucky to lose last time. I thought Jeno panicked a little bit, and he probably set him alight too soon. He looked a winner everywhere until sort of the last 20 meters when
but that was a difficult race for him also.
It was a very tough race for him. He sort of a little bit slow away. He stumbled going past the winning post as well, but he really sort of and then once again probably set him alight too soon. I reckon a little bit more patient ride. I think he's going to be a very, very hard horse to beat.
Yeah, maybe I have a question for you, Mark. Do you think for a 3 years old to come back so quick can play against him?
It could. Look, he had a lot of racing in South Africa. In fact, I sort of had this same sort of question. You know, another sort of question is the second run syndrome. Yeah. It's not an exact science. How do trainers look at second run syndrome? Do we bring them back quicker? Do we wait a bit longer? It all depends on the horse, in my opinion. I think every single horse is an individual thing. I can tell you something. I saw Master of Spain at track work, and he looked very well. He took his race very, very well. And if he reproduces that last run, I think he's going to be quite a hard horse to beat. You obviously, have you got something else in mind? Because are you
for the second place, I'll go for 7 Silver.
Yep.
I think tomorrow is a good draw. He will run a good race.
Okay, I've also got 7 Silver down as my second place. And then one horse that's caught my eye a little bit in the training is number 4, Street Bite. I liked his barrier trial. I think he's going to run a good race first time up. I'm going to put Street Bite in as my third choice. Straight line trifecta.
I will go for Master of Spain, 7 Silver, and to end Indian Tractor.
Okay, Indian Tractor. All right. Well, there we go. That is the 8th and final race of the weekend. It looks like it's going to be a very, very exciting weekend's racing. I'm going to put your head down on the block and ask you to give me a banker for Sunday afternoon.
I have 2 bankers for Sunday meeting. I have AFDEEK, and I think Mr. Hardy is quite hard to beat here.
Okay.
And for a value bet, I will go for Gunstone in the third race.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I'm going to go HUYSSTEEN. I think he's going to be my banker of the day. So if you take my banker alongside with your 2 bankers, that's a nice lever-pile.
Ah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining. I really enjoyed talking with Raksha about the card. Hopefully, we've helped you with your selections. Hopefully, you have a great weekend's racing, and hopefully, we'll see you on the track. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.